Hey folks, welcome to What's New, the Peter Larmont Outdoor Radio Show. I'm your host, Peter Larmont, and today we have a very special guest on the show, a very good friend of mine, Chris Cadu. Chris and his wife, Wendy, own and operate Lake Cottages in Newborough, Ontario. However, before we get to Chris and get this thing started, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
George's Marine and Sports, making fun of reality. George's has 3 locations, their head office in Eganville, the largest showroom in Ottawa, and their new location in Kingston. George's sells everything you need for your boating and outdoor pleasure. Boats from Tracker, Nitro, Crestliner, Bayliner, Regal, and Sea-Doo. And then don't forget their line of outboards, Mercury and BRP. Livingston Lures. Livingston Lures is committed to bringing fishermen everywhere innovative, technologically advanced lures designed to flat-out catch fish in fresh and salt water. With an exciting new line of crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, topwater baits, jerk baits, and wake baits featuring unique sound and vibration technology. Livingston Lures is set to make some real noise across the fishing industry. Gambler Lures, better baits, better fishing, better time on the water. Gambler Lures has one goal when it comes to our products, catching you more and bigger fish. Lose, building innovative products that are faster, lighter, and stronger.
Welcome back. I'm very happy to have on the show today a very good friend of mine, Chris Cadu, owner and operator of Lake Cottages in Newborough, Ontario. Chris and his wife Wendy, along with their 2 children, work hard at making your stay at Lake Cottages the most enjoyable it could possibly be. I know my wife and I have stayed there a few times over the years, and we always look forward to returning. So I just want to, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So, Chris, tell me about Lake Cottages. How long have you guys owned Lake Cottages?
Well, this is our 19th year having the cottages, Peter. It's been a pleasure having the cottages and the people that we meet every year, and some new, some that return year after year. Of course, it's 19 years, and it's been great.
That's amazing. 19 years. So you must have seen a lot of changes in the guests over the years, and especially if they bring their own boats up when they come up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we cater to all types of vacationers and fishermen for sure. Mostly fishing, spring and fall, of course, but we do get people that have come to kayak and canoe around the Rideau, of course, for the beautiful weather in the summer. Lots of different types of people. In the spring, we tend to get a lot of groups of guys coming in and fishing for pike, and then as bass season opens, you get more families, husbands and wives, and the kids come along and they're bass fishing and for crappie and perch, of course. And we do see a lot of different people coming in.
Excellent. Now I know it's Lake Cottages, and it's on the Rideau system. Is there other lakes around Clear Lake that boaters can get to? Do they have to go through locks, or do they just go through channels?
Well, actually, the nice thing, Peter, about being on our level, and as you know, you've fished it more than a few times, is there's and when I talk about levels, I'm talking about between locks. So Clear Lake Cottages is between Newborough Lock and Chaffee's Lock, and there's 7 lakes on our level. So Clear Lake is about 450 acres, and then Newborough Lake is probably about 8 times that, and the Indian Lake is a similar size to Clear, and then there's a few smaller lakes that all surround a large island that, like I say, that separates all these lakes. But so there's a lot of fishing and boating space on our level, which makes it quite unique. You're not just locked into one lake, and you can, again, if you wanted to go up to Westport for the day, you could lock through and go up into the Upper Rideau, and down from there to Portland through Narrows Locks, or you could go the other way towards Kingston and go into Opinacon Lake down at Chaffee's Locks. So, and when I say towards Kingston, if you're not familiar with the Rideau runs from Kingston, Lake Ontario, to Ottawa, our nation's capital.
Yeah, so there is a lot of water for people if they want to go through. But as you said, there's 7 lakes around that are joined by Clear Lake, in between the 2 locks that you had mentioned, Chaffee's and Newborough. Having fished there a few times, it's the fishery there is fantastic. I know mostly I've ever fished there was for bass. We catch the occasional pike now and then, but mostly we go there for bass tournaments and what have you. So going back to the cottages, how many cottages do you guys have, Chris?
We have 6 cottages. I'll just tell you a little bit about them, Peter.
Please.
Like I say, you're familiar, but your listeners may not be. They're 5 feet from the water. Some of them have screened-in porches. Some of them have decks. Basically, you're 5 feet from the water's edge, and everybody has their own 32-foot dock and hydro at the dock and stuff like that for charging batteries. It's an ideal setup for fishermen for sure. Nice deep water shoreline, and the docks are like 32 by 8 fiberglass floating docks, so they're nice and stable. And it's an ideal setting for sure. The cottages are all outfitted with refrigerators and stoves, hot showers, your regular inside plumbing with toasters and coffee makers. Pretty much everything you need. The only thing you need to bring to our place is your food and your linens.
Well, sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off. It really is home away from home.
It is, yeah. We've had people. We have this one person in particular, this lady that's been coming to our place basically all her life. So 62 years she's been coming to our place, long before we owned it. But it's basically a tradition for her now to be coming back to Clear Lake. Really, it's the cabins are nice and comfortable, but when people come, it's the lake that they come for, and it's a beautiful spot.
Well, I know you guys are always if I remember correctly, and Chris, you can correct me on this, but all the cabins are facing west, so you get an amazing sunset
every night. It's if the weather's clear, exactly, just you can see the sun coming down over the trees and the silhouettes on the docks, and when you're fishing off the docks is just lovely and long, and it's pretty nice evenings sitting on the screened-in porch or the little deck that sits on the water, watching that sun come down for sure.
Yeah, the other thing too, if I remember, my wife and I, we stayed at cabin 2, I believe it was. That's the one with the balcony that's kind of almost overhanging the water. And,
it does overhang the water. It used to be a boathouse, and basically underneath is my little shop there, but up top is the cottage. So you're looking down onto the water, and a little deck over top of the water. You can fish right off your deck there if you wanted to. So that's a cute cottage, and it's one that books up pretty fast.
I can see why, because you mentioned fishing right off the deck. I got up early in the morning, and the wife was still sleeping, so I kind of snuck out to the deck. But I didn't want to open the door to go out because I knew I'd wake her. So I just snuck out the deck, and I was able to cast a couple times out on the deck. So that's that in itself is an experience that you don't get anywhere else, I'm sure. So other than the 6 cottages. And you have, like you said, you guys cater to pretty much any type of vacation or that would come down to see you guys. You mentioned docks. If I come down, I don't have a boat. Do you guys rent boats out there, or is there?
We do, Peter. We've got some 14-foot fiberglass or aluminum boats with 15 horsepower motors. We rent those out. We also have 18-foot Princecraft pontoon boat. That if you have a family that wants to go out on the lake for the day fishing, or 4 guys can fish off it really comfortably because there's fishing seats in each corner, live well, trolling motor, fish finder kind of thing on board too. So we do offer that. It's something we rent out quite a bit. So yeah.
So that's good. So I mean, you guys really do cater to all the to anyone that wants to go down, even enjoying just the lake. They could take the pontoon boat out, and obviously they would rent it. But I mean, they could take the pontoon boat out and enjoy what the Rideau system has to offer, especially Clear Lake, and as you mentioned, Newborough and all the other lakes around.
Newborough Lake, Clear Lake's a fairly wide open lake, and you go through this small little isthmus we call the Elbow, and you go through there into Newborough Lake, and it opens up into this huge lake that's got a lot of islands and shoals, and ideal for fishing and swimming off these islands and stuff. So yeah, like I said earlier, there's so much water there, and you can explore forever if people with kayaks and canoes can explore around. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of islands. So if it's windy out, you can always get tucked in behind one of the islands to fish and stuff. So you can always get on the water. It doesn't blow up that much that you can't get out fishing. So yeah, it's good.
So now. People, I was going to say something now, and I completely lost my train of thought because you got me thinking about all these shoals on Newborough that played havoc with me in a tournament that I had there earlier this year. But anyway, getting off track here, and it's funny how that happens with us fishermen. But yeah, so where was I going with this? What are the other than, I know earlier you'd mentioned bass, you'd mentioned crappie and perch, bluegill, and all that panfish. Rideau system is also famous for trout. Do you guys get a lot of trout fishermen up there during the early spring?
Well, what we do have on our level, Peter, is splake, and it's a hybrid fish. That if you're not familiar, it's a cross between a speckled trout and a lake trout. And they're a beautiful fish. They're very easily caught. I wouldn't say easily caught. They're caught a lot in the spring when the water's cold. The guys that are up fishing for pike, they do really well with them. And then after that, once the water starts to warm up, you got to go a little bit deeper for them. But yeah, splake is the trout that we have on our level. Indian Lake and Clear Lake seem to be the lakes that produce the splake because of the depth. Clear Lake has a maximum depth of about 113 feet, and Indian Lake, I think, is around 85 feet. You do get that kind of depth in one part of Newborough also, but I've never really heard of any splake being caught over there. But I couldn't say that they wouldn't be there either. Along with, of course, pike, large and smallmouth bass, crappie. The crappie fishing is really good. Perch, and of course you've got rock bass and sunfish and stuff like that. But yeah. So there's a pretty good variety of fish to be caught if you're fishing. Absolutely.
To be honest with you, I've never caught a splake, so I know what they are. I've never caught one, but I guess probably never fished for them either, so it's pretty hard to catch them.
Right.
The other thing that you mentioned too, there's a lot of panfish, the bluegill, the perch, the rock bass and stuff.
A lot of fun with a lightweight rod and reel. You put a small jig on there, or a little fly, and if you have kids that are coming, or big kids like me sitting on the dock, fishing for panfish, it can be a lot of fun with a lightweight setup. So.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking is that's a great body of water to take a family, especially if you have young children. You and I both have kids that are not so much young anymore, young to us, but not young to the average bear.
Right.
Just so that people know our daughters go to school together. They've played basketball together. They've kind of known each other for, God, I don't know how many years now. But anyway, I know that taking young kids fishing, it can be a toll. It can take a toll on you for the patience that you need to show, because, like, I know for myself, my daughter, who's 15 now, if the fish aren't biting within the first 5 casts, she'll lose interest rather quickly. whereas younger